Are you striving to achieve a higher level of performance or that certain look? There is help. Welcome to the Super Strength Podcast, featuring candid conversations and motivating stories of success. Now, here is your host.
Hello, this is your host, Nick Jaworski, and I am here with Ray Toulany, and today we will be talking with Ray about the benefits of molding a ferocious grip. And so we'll be talking about how anyone can benefit from increased grip strength, the meaning of transfer points of strength and weak links, an evil Russian's and an American grip monster's explanation of how a stronger grip increases total body power, and unbelievable feats of grip strength from the golden era of the iron game. Now, before Ray joins us, just a reminder that if you have questions or require assistance, you can always reach Ray online at www.raytoulany.com. Of course, that is RayToulany.com. Or on his Facebook page at facebook.com/Ray Toulany Strength and Conditioning. Ray, how are you doing today?
I'm doing real good, man. How about yourself?
I'm doing well. You have a name like mine where I feel like it's important to spell as often as possible.
Yeah. I agree. Some people, they get all kinds of different letters thrown in there. So
I just, wanted to go through that again.
I appreciate that. I really do.
All right. So we've talked about a lot of things leading up to now. I talked about abbreviated exercises last time. And today we're talking about grip strength. And I guess, as always, I want to start at the beginning. What do you mean when you talk about grip strength?
Okay, yeah. So essentially anything that involves the strength of the muscles between your elbows to your fingertips. So basically your lower arm, including your hand, your wrist, your thumb, your fingers, open hand, closed hand, crushing, levering, twisting, anything that involves the lower arm and hand and wrist is essentially what I mean by grip strength.
All right. So that's a bit broader than I, in my brain, had imagined it. And why?
Yeah, they're all interconnected.
Oh, yeah. I mean, so why is grip strength so important? And why is it that I don't hear about it more often?
Okay. I love referencing, quoting my buddy here, the Iron Master, Arthur Saxon. I'm going to do that again. So Here we go. The guy had a brain in his head, that's for sure. Okay, here's what he had to say. He said, a man with a 15-inch bicep and a strong wrist will raise a heavier weight in any position than another man with a 16-inch bicep who has a small and weak wrist. Now, when he says raise, usually they mean, usually put it overhead or something of that nature.
Right.
So, in other words, you're only as strong as your weakest link. And for many people, grip is the weakest link. Also, grip training is one of the most functional types of training that you can do. Okay, as much as a lot of the iron heads, they love their benching, they love their squatting, they love their deadlifting. We love that stuff, right? We love our big curls and all that stuff, right? Curls for the girls, and you got to love all that, right? Yes. The reality is, how often are you going to find yourself in a situation where you need to bench 500 pounds in real life? How about even 200 pounds?
Right.
I mean, last time I checked, I don't think anybody's really running into situations where, a car was sitting on their chest. But I mean, how often in your everyday life, Nick, even yourself, do you have to hold on to something or pry it open?
Oh, I mean, all the time. I'm also a musician, and so grip strength is super important to me.
Yeah, hand health, grip strength, extremely important for you, definitely. And the grip is what I like to call a transfer point of strength, okay? So just picture this. Picture a little old lady trying to twist open a jar with a lid that's stuck on there real well. Okay, so pretty much everybody has faced a situation, whether you're an old lady or even if you're a young, healthy guy, right?
Yes.
A lot of people have found themselves in that situation. Even that old little lady has enough strength to open up that jar. Okay, but the problem is the hand strength is not there. The grip strength is not there. Okay, now picture broad-shouldered, young, strapping lad. You know what I mean? Lumberjack guy. Well, actually not a lumberjack because they got some pretty amazing lower arm strength. But, your average gym goer, okay?
All right.
Your average gym goer, the guy who doesn't train his grip. He gets into a situation where he needs to, I don't know, man, there's like a bolt or something that's stuck, and he needs to get that free. Maybe a lug nut or something on the car. He's got his date in the car, and he's got to change the tire. He gets everything on there, and he goes to screw off the lug nut, and guess what? He can't hold on to the tire iron. Okay, maybe that thing needs 100 pounds of force to get that jam bolt loose, that jam nut. Now he's got enough body power. The guy can, he can deadlift, 300, 400, 500 pounds with straps all the time, which help lift, almost like a crutch to a certain degree because they allow you to lift a much heavier weight that you can't hold on to. The problem is his grip strength. Okay, he can't, if his hands aren't strong enough to transfer the strength from his body into whatever he's holding on to, he's not going to be able to demonstrate his strength. And he's, at the end of the day, really no different than that little old lady now, is he?
Right. If he can't use the strength, then what's the point?
Exactly. So, yeah, that's why I think grip strength training is extremely important and why I think it's one of the most functional types of training you could do.
Well, if it's so functional, then, Ray, why does it seem to get ignored so much? I mean, is that true? Am I right? Does it get ignored?
Oh yeah, definitely gets ignored. And I think there's a few reasons. I mean, it drives me crazy when I see guys doing like lat pull downs with straps. I understand that, when you use straps, it helps you isolate more of the lats and stuff. But man, there's nothing worse than looking like you're real strong and you can't hold on to anything or demonstrate that strength. I mean, a lot of, like lumberjack kind of guys, like I mentioned, and tradesmen and stuff like that, they'd laugh at guys. The guy thinks he's got this big build, big chest, big shoulders, big legs, and the guy can't even hold on to anything. But anyway, the reason why I think it gets ignored is because it's just not as sexy as having, big pecs, ripped abs, big shoulders. We don't do as much manual labor as we used to do.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I think most people just are unaware of it. They don't realize that there's this whole world, the grip strength world. And trust me, it is an entire world. It is a very, very deep rabbit hole that just goes and goes and goes. And I think that's where we have our issues.
Well, okay, we're going to take a quick break, but I'll be back here with Ray Toulany, and we're going to talk about improving grip strength and the exercises that we could undertake to help do that. So don't go anywhere. We will be right back.
Stay tuned for more of the Super Strength Podcast with Ray Toulany after we hear from our sponsors. Did you know the most popular workouts today involve kettlebells? It's no surprise. Kettlebells offer a much greater range of motion for increased muscular endurance. Due to the displaced center of gravity, kettlebells are much harder to control, placing increased demands on agility, core stabilization, and coordination. Order your kettlebells today at raytoulany.com/kettlebells. That's RAYTOULANY.com/kettlebells. Did you know a strong core not only helps improve power and balance, it can also help decrease the likelihood of injuries. And nothing looks better than a strong, lean midsection. The Power Wheel delivers by challenging your abs, obliques, back, hips, and glutes. The Power Wheel is the perfect piece of equipment for all fitness levels. Get your Power Wheel today at raytoulany.com/powerwheel. That's RAYTOULANY.com/powerwheel. Now let's get back to the Super Strength Podcast with Ray Toulany.
All right, I'm back here with Ray Toulany, and we're talking about grip strength and why it's so important. All right, Ray, now you've probably convinced a lot of people. I was already convinced about the importance of grip strength. Now, how do we improve our strength? What kind of exercises can we undertake in order to get stronger grips?
Okay. A lot of the average exercises a lot of people are already doing in the gym can go a long way to helping them improve their grip. So deadlifting with a double overhand grip where both your hands are facing the same direction, like knuckles are pointed down towards the ground. You're not using what's called a reverse grip, where one hand is facing one way and one is facing the other way.
Mm-hmm.
Pull downs, if you're doing chin-ups, if you're doing any type of hanging ab exercises, if you avoid using any type of aids to help you, except for maybe your max lifts on like a deadlift, that'll go a long way in helping your strength. But you can go even further than that and do specific grip training. There's actually lots of equipment that you can buy. Iron Mind, that's ironmind.com. That actually, Randy over there, he has some fantastic high quality grip strength training equipment over there. But to get it started right now, you don't need that stuff. You know what you can do? Even though I highly recommend buying some of Randy's stuff. It's awesome stuff. I have pretty much everything he sells. You could start off by, like I said, hang from a chinning bar for time. Hold on to a barbell. So stand up with a barbell and just have it like in the top position of the deadlift and hold on to it for time, 10, 20, 30 seconds. And you could over time add more weight to the bar. You can pinch like 10-pound plates, face them to each other. So you got the smooth sides out, let's say 2-3 plates. You could pinch them with one hand, your thumb on one side, your fingers on the other, and pick it up and hold on to it. Just be careful you don't put too many together and overextend your thumb because you could injure if it's too wide of something for you to grip. You could do deadlifts with one finger, 2 or 3 fingers. And what that means is instead of using all your fingers, you would use your thumb and only like your index to pick up the bar, or your thumb, your index and middle finger, or your thumb, index, middle finger, and ring finger.
Right.
So you would, try to eliminate some of the fingers that you're using to hold onto the bar. There's wrist curls, sledgehammer levers, and rubber band finger extensions. Those are some basic ones that you can do that are anybody who works out right now has that equipment.
Right. I mean, we're already using this equipment right now. And I guess we got to know how strong can we actually get? And I guess how would we know how strong we've gotten with our grip strength?
Yeah, so, some people think, well, it's your hand. How strong can your hand really get? Well, let me tell you, man, your hand is capable of some ridiculous feats of strength, okay? And I got some of them here I'm going to share. Mm-hmm. But, the way you would know how your hand's getting stronger, it's really no different than any other muscle group. You'd either time yourself for holds or how much weight you could pick up in a certain movement, and you would just progress along, very similar to many other type of exercises. So here's some examples of what what grip strength is possible. I'm laughing here because some of the stuff, it just doesn't even make sense.
Yeah, I'm preparing myself. All right, here we go.
Okay, so Louis Cyr. Okay, he was a Canadian strongman from Quebec. This man was able to do a one-finger lift where he did. This is actually a little dangerous. You want to be careful with these if you want to do them at all. So basically, he had a metal ring that had weight attached to it, and he put his finger in the ring, the one finger. So it was a big ring, not like a little ring on your finger like a wedding band. Picked up 522.5 pounds doing that. Okay? Yeah. One finger, right? Like in a deadlift type of movement. He performed a one-hand deadlift with a 522.5 pound dumbbell.
Jeez.
Okay? There's a lot of these, so I'm just going to try to cherry pick them here. John Y. Smith of Boston. This man picked up a 220-pound barbell in his right hand, a 200-pound dumbbell in his left hand, and carried both for 75 yards.
Wow.
Without putting them down.
Wow.
Yeah. Now, here's something that's this one's crazy that he did. He lifted a 200-pound barrel, which stood on its end, right? Just the way a barrel normally stands up.
Yeah.
Okay. By the hoops. Now, people are like, what the heck are hoops? Now, I'm talking about like the old school wooden
like a
barrels.
barrel. Like a real barrel.
Yeah, like
that you would go over Niagara Falls in.
Exactly. We all, I know everybody has one because that's everybody's goal is to go over Niagara Falls in a barrel.
Yes.
But, yeah, exactly. One of those. He picked it up by the hoops. Now, what are the hoops? If you can visualize what a barrel looks like, or if you go online and look them up, they have these little metal straps that go around them horizontally, very thin metal. Okay. And it basically, it's like just holds it all together. There's a couple of them on a barrel. He, with that little tiny ledge that thing has, that's what he put his fingertips on, and he was able, with his fingertip strength, on that little tiny edge of that hoop, on a 200-pound barrel, he was able to pick it up off the ground.
Wow.
The amount of finger strength you'd need for that just doesn't even make sense.
Wow.
It's ridiculous. Herman Gorner, or Gorner, depending on how you want to pronounce it, okay, he did a one-hand deadlift of 734.5 pounds on the 20th of July, 1920 in Dresden. Okay, this is a block of sandstone, it was said, with the handle. Okay, 734.5 pounds. Okay. Another his was to, check this out, write his name on a blackboard in chalk with 110-pound or 50-kilo weight dangling from his thumb.
Wow.
Of the hand that he was writing with. All right. Okay. This could, I could keep going all day long. Al Berger, this guy, what he could do was he could chin himself by pinch gripping 3-inch thick rafters. So he would, rafters like, let's say in his basement, the ceiling up in his basement, he would pinch them essentially with his hands. They're 3 inches in thickness, and he would be able, through his pinch strength, hold on to them tight enough that he could do chin-ups.
Wow.
It's incredible. That's out of this world.
Yeah.
Yeah, out of this world. And I could keep going and going and going. Modern day guys, we got Dennis Rogers, Pat Pavlidis, John Brookfield, Richard Soren, Chuck Halbacken. It could just goes and goes. Mighty Mac is another guy. Amazing guys. And last one, very quickly, actually there's a lot more than this, but last one, Arthur Saxon, the guy we're always mentioning.
Yes.
Get this. He lifted 297.61 pounds. I don't know where to get this from, but anyway, 135 kilos, okay, overhead with his little finger.
What?
The finger, check this, the weight was attached to a hook, and his finger was like in the hook, and he was able to pick that sucker up and put that up overhead. Okay, wow. A, that's incredible strength, and B, that must have hurt like, oh man, that must have been bad pain. But yeah, so there we go.
That's incredible. I always am proud of myself when I can take all of the groceries inside in one trip.
In one shot.
That's always my sense of accomplishment in terms of grip strength. Now, real